spent 6 hours today cleaning up all these panels and giving them this brushed stainless type look. You can see the nice grain that's got in there. Kind of brings out the bead rolls, adds a little depth. So I did all these panels and they're all going the same direction. All I used was some Scotch-Brite. There's a couple different colors. Yeah, it works pretty good. I think it'll look really nice. A lot of work, but it looks good. I used the coarsest stuff I could find, which is actually this gray stuff. You can see it's almost gone through. So tomorrow, what I gotta do is I'm gonna take these out and hose them all off with that cleaner degreaser. This is the first step of a 3-step system. I read the instructions quick. I haven't used this product before myself, but the thing that stuck out to me was it needs to be diluted up to at least 1:1 with hot water. You can even go up to 10 parts to 1. I think I'm gonna go about 2:1. So these panels aren't really that dirty. They got a bunch of sawdust and stuff on them now. I've been cutting some wood, but they're not really that dirty. They have some Sharpie marks, some oil, of course, just from the steel process itself, for my fingers, etc. So I either go to 2:1 or a 5:1. Just clean them off, and then you're supposed to wash it with water. So I'm gonna start, and I have a bottle you can just buy from Walmart or Menards or wherever, spray bottle, and it actually has the mixing ratios right on it. So you start off, you can see right there is 5:1. So I need about 5 ounces of the cleaner degreaser solution. Then all the way up here is the fill line, so that will give you a 5:1 ratio. This is one nice thing about this bottle. I have another bottle back here with the stuff that I also bought. No, this one doesn't have any markings on it for ratios, so that's something to keep in mind when you're looking for a bottle. This one here says it's chemical resistant. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know if it's actually chemical resistant. Kind of noticed that some of these are kind of junky at times, so it's kind of hit or miss. So I'm gonna mix this up and start cleaning these panels. I don't have hot water down here, but I do have a microwave, so you can see I got a gallon jug in there with some water. I hope it don't blow up, but heat it up because it says that this stuff is supposed to be mixed with warm water. And then I'm also using just a tiki torch funnel. It actually fit in the hole pretty good, and it's got like a spot for the head of this to actually rest in, which is nice. You don't have to have it, it's just something that I had, so. Alright, so it's about midnight, Saturday night. I'm actually out here working, prepping my floor pans in the dark. You can see I got them set up out here along the garage door, using that for light. I'm excited to get them done. They're close, so now it's just the point where I just want to get them done. I have these panels back in here drying. You can see it's almost midnight. I got them degreased. Now I'm gonna let them all dry out. They actually froze that fast because it's about 30 degrees out. So I'm gonna let them dry, and then I will hit them with this metal prep stuff here. It's also a Pour 15 product, obviously. Rust remover and pre-primer. I have it in this spray bottle here. This one does not get diluted. This one you're actually supposed to let it sit on for 10 to 20 minutes in 70 degrees. So I turned on my heat down here, got it cranked, so eventually it's at 62 right now, which is usually about what I work at. I got it turned up, so this works as good as it can, and I'll start prepping these out. Let them dry overnight and they'll be ready for paint tomorrow, so they'll work good, I think. Looks good already. Now I have these panels soaking with the metal prep. It says on the instructions to let them soak for about 10 to 20 minutes, keeping them wet kind of the whole time. So every few minutes I'm going over and putting a couple little sprays over them. I have the exhaust fan on in here. I don't know if you can hear it, but this stuff is actually, I got these ones sprayed. It actually kind of smells a lot like developing fluid when you're doing photography. So I don't know what their secret recipe is, but it smells a lot like that. You're not supposed to inhale it or whatever, obviously. You can see it's getting this film on it that actually isn't really coming off when I rinse it off. You can see that these are all discolored and stuff, so I don't know what that's all about. I'm gonna get the most of it rinsed off and then bring a sponge and a water bucket down and try and clean all this shit off, because obviously clearing over that just ain't gonna happen. Maybe I'll have to start over with this, but boy, that is a lot of work. So I started today at 3 o'clock and I've been down here till right now 1:20, and that's all I did today, so that kind of sucks. Not very happy about that. these panels, pour 15 with the clear. And now I'm actually taking them and I am scuffing them up with a whole bunch of different sandpapers here. You can see the obvious difference there between the unscuffed and the scuffed. You can see the reflection in this one. In this one you can't. So that allows me to put on my top coat finish, which is going to be a black. So finally, after a ton, absolutely ton of time, I have these panels all prepped, and I just washed them all off and did the whole process. So right now you can see they're drying. You can see there's a little bit of water still on that right in there, so I'm just letting them dry. Overall, I think they look pretty good. This etching process didn't etch them as bad as the last stuff did, so basically I'm going to show you what I actually used, or what I'm actually going to use. First, I start off with the pour 15 degreaser. Now this is diluted 1:1. Just in a regular sprayer bottle. And then, since I wanted to keep the original metal finish look, I used the AP 120 pour 15 metal prep, which is a little bit less, I guess, effective, or a little bit less etching than the regular metal prep that they have. And then, now I'm going to take, after they dry, and I'll take this two-step, or this part A and part B 2K urethane. This one is obviously part A, and this is the paint, and then right here is the activator or hardener. And I'm going to dilute that down about 5% with xylol, or xylene is another term for it. Now, this stuff is going to go on in 2 coats. First coat will be fairly light, second coat will be medium to light, or light to medium, once the first coat is pretty much almost dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set these panels all up horizontally, or however you want to say this, parallel to the floor, so that I can go over the top and spray them like this, rather than having them sit up, and then you have the more chance of runs. I really don't want to mess these up. I got a ton of time into these damn things after polishing everything up and cleaning it all back up. I went through a lot of Scotch-Brite, but I think it'll be pretty dope when it's done, so one of a kind, that's for sure. It's about that time, folks. You can see I just have a regular quart ball jar here, used for canning and whatnot. And I'm actually going to do this in sections so that I don't waste some of this nice paint. What I did here up at the house, since I don't have like a Pyrex for down here, or like a measuring cup down here, I just elected to get one of these, and I measured out 4 ounces, and then added another 12, which is 16 ounce total. And this is a 3:1 mix ratio, so you can see that this part B is 8 ounces, this part A is 24 ounces, so that's obviously a 3:1, so I'll use half of each, and this is the precise way of measuring that. And then I'll be diluting it about 5% with xylol, just using a spoon. I think it's going to be about 1.5 teaspoons here, and this would be for half a quart mixture. And then I'm using just a regular cheap Harbor Freight spray gun, high volume, low pressure, gravity feed. I think it was about 40 bucks. It's got a 1.5 tip, so it allows me not to have to thin it too much. Easy enough. This does have a measuring thing on the side of it, but it's kind of hard to see through, and I usually don't like mixing stuff in my container that I'm shooting out of, just because I'd rather have it in a ball jar, which I can shake the shit out of it and get it all mixed up well. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I am using a regulator here. I got it set to about 60 right now. It's obviously not plugged in, but I got it set to about 60 pounds. Pretty basic, I guess, just a T. And I'll do a little test piece with this cardboard over here. Some test piece to see kind of how it's working. Obviously I have all this kind of sectioned off so that I'm not getting a ton of overspray everywhere. I will wet down the floor so that when I'm walking around I'm not kicking up shit. I want this to be perfect, so that's that. About time to get to it! so motherfucking icy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So all these panels are finally painted and pretty much dry. It's been about 12 hours since I painted them. You can see they turned out pretty good. There's a few little spots, like in this one you can see there's a little piece of dirt. Other than that, they turned out pretty good considering I don't have a paint booth or nothing like that. So now what I'm gonna do is just let them fully cure. Probably wait till tomorrow, go work on a video instead. So I've been down here going through my Heim fittings and turnbuckles, and I found some small 5/16 Heims in one of my parts boxes that I'm actually going to use for my throttle setup. Now I'll kind of show you what I got going on in here. This is actually the stock throttle off of a VE pump Cummins, and I had it mounted down here to the fuel pump where the original lift pump was, and then I also have to mount the back because if you look, you probably can't tell, but it flexes under pressure. So now I am trying to hook my P pump up to that throttle, and I am using a bracket that I made here that bolts to the throttle on the P pump. You can see there's the throttle, and this is actually a push style connector originally, but I extended this arm so it's on the other side of the pivot, and now you can just have a pull throttle. So this is no throttle, and this is full throttle. So now it all works together. What I have to do now is connect this rod here with this throttle bracket here. So what I'm doing is I just took some brake line that I have. I think this is our fuel line, 5/16 fuel line. Might be a little bigger actually, but anyways, the Heim fits in there perfectly, and then I have just a nut that's on there, and I'll weld that to my brake line, and then I'll cut it to length and weld the other one on, and then I have adjustability because obviously these are threaded Heims, like so. And then this is just a bracket. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but it's a bracket I actually had for fog lights. The fog lights mounted, as you can probably tell, something like that. And it actually is the same size bolt as the opening on the Heim here, so it works out pretty good. So I might end up taking that and mounting it onto my throttle plate like this. And then on the other side, obviously just taking the Heim joint, and I have this hole threaded here with adjustability. So you can see there's 3 holes there for adjustability. And then this other mounting hole is for mounting the second bolt onto the throttle here. And then again, there's my Larry B's fuel shutoff solenoid. So this is all stuff that you need to do when you swap over from a VE pump to a P pump. You can see obviously this is a P pump Cummins now. It was a VE pump originally. And you have to, if you want to mount your throttle like this, you're going to have to remove your fuel lift pump, which most people do because most people run a fast setup. If they're going to bother swapping to a P pump, most of the time people are going to actually try and get more power out of it than the stock lift pump can handle, so that's no big deal. And then back here, I can either tap a hole into the bell housing here, or I can come off of one of these bolts to come down and support this, or what I'm electing to do, you probably can't see, but there's a starter right under here, and there's one bolt that's like directly below, so I'll just have a tab that's welded onto my throttle plate here, and then it bolts in with the starter. So that's today's adventure. Get that done, working right, and one step closer. Right now you can see I have my rear brake caliper off, and I have a bolt in the hole, and you can see right here that the bleeder actually broke off, and I tried to use an easy out, but the easy out actually broke off in there too. So I tried to pound that tip of the easy out in further, and now I have a bigger easy out, and I'm going to try and drill out this hole a little bit bigger, which is going to be kind of difficult because the easy outs are hardened steel. So hopefully I can get this out, otherwise I'll have to send it out to the machine shop. Where are we going, guys?
The garage.
The garage, yeah. Hey.
I wanted to go first.
What did I tell you guys to call your mom when she gets home?
Wrench.
No.
Ratchet.
A ratchet!